It's another Second Take episode, and we are excited to trample on all your sensibilities and respect for Africa's political climate. In fact, for the whole world's political climate. We don't really care. We just trample on everyone like Faf du Plessis in a rugby ruck. Welcome to the show. My name is Ashwin Bedi. All right, let's get straight into our top stories. South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma has been given the boot from the ANC for his apparent talent in the corruption Olympics and a flair for turning political principles into folly. Zuma, not one to fade quietly into the background, decided to spice things up by launching a new party, Umkhonto weSizwe. The ANC, which had previously shown the patience of a saint, suddenly realized that tolerating Zuma's antics might have been pushing it a tad too far. Secretary General Hichilema, in a moment of rare seriousness, declared that those in conflict with the party's values would find themselves outside, as if the ANC's values were carefully guarded secrets that Zuma accidentally stumbled upon. Zuma, undeterred by this sudden rejection, embarked on a noble quest to rescue the ANC, though his version of rescue involves creating a rival party that shares a name with the ANC's former armed wing. As South Africa braces itself for the most competitive election in ages, Zuma's new party is poised to take votes from the ANC, which naturally makes Julius Malema and the EFF happy, because nothing quite beats an opponent that is skilled at beating themselves. Will the ANC recover from this spear in the side, or will Zuma's Umkhonto weSizwe turn out to be the hero or anti-hero nobody knew they needed? All I know is if the political waters get too muddy for Jacob Zuma, there's nothing that a shower can't cure, right? Let us move on. Zambia's former president Edgar Lungu has graciously called for an early election, citing his successor Hakainde Hichilema's apparent inability to turn the economy into a utopian paradise overnight. Mr. Lungu, who has a track record of economic wizardry that rivals a toddler's attempt at building a brick house, believes it's high time for Zambians to rise up and demand change. At a recent opposition media briefing, Mr. Lungu passionately implored the citizens to pressure President Hichilema into acknowledging that an early election is imperative, because nothing says political competence like throwing around words like imperative without actually explaining why. Lungu also took the opportunity to showcase his newfound concern for public health, accusing Hichilema of miserably handling the cholera outbreak that has allegedly claimed the lives of nearly 600 people since last October. In response to Lungu's call for an early election, the government spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa dismissed the allegations with the nonchalance of a person swatting away a pesky fly. Mwetwa urged Zambians to exercise the virtue of patience and give President Hichilema the time he needs to fulfill his campaign promises, subtly suggesting that miracles take a bit longer than expected. Of course, it is a little awkward that during his opposition days, Hichilema promised low cost for fuel, and now Zambians are facing the highest fuel price hikes in the country's history. That said, Mweta also didn't dismiss the chance to throw some shade at Lungu, accusing him of single-handedly ruining the country's economy during his 6-year reign, which was marred by rampant corruption, economic mismanagement, and questionable decision-making. You know, the usual menu. Mr. Lungu's comeback to politics last October was met with such enthusiasm that the government promptly withdrew his retirement benefits, a move akin to taking away candy from a baby. If that baby had a penchant for economic mismanagement, mismanagement and a knack for stirring up trouble. It's a thrilling time for Zambian politics, and I look forward to sitting down and enjoying the show with a cold beverage, recommended by Mr. Lungu, of course. We are all seeking connection to each other, to the world, to the spaces we exist in. Poor sportsmanship right now from the lads.
You might be physically ready, your body is ready, but mentally.
Here's another chance, and it is a goal from Vindo Kaha.
Sy sê wie is er aan neertrek en daai bal het my grond gevat. Ja, hy het grond gevat en is
but just enough next.
Running that mountain up. Okay, so we will be doing this for the mountain climber. More advanced, slightly advanced.
So is jou trolley reg? Want
I love that. I love that. So then
kickstart our countdown at number 5 with this one.
Op Netwerk TV se Klets Kompas gesels ons nuus van 'n Maandag tot Donderdag. Ons kyk ook na die weer en meer. Stories wat jou raak en stories wat saak maak.
They've made a mistake in denying me bail, and they've made several other mistakes in many other cases.
The channels that teach us something new or reflect our expression. So it goes beyond switching to the right station. It's about choosing the experience that can adorn the present, dressing it with our tastes as we expand our preferences, because what we are actually connecting to is boundless, limitless human energy, and this is the spirit of NTV.
So, Israel has decided to play a riveting game of guess who's genocidal with the United Nations. Last week, the UN's top court issued a ruling which Israel promptly treated as if it were an unsolicited piece of junk mail. South Africa's Foreign Minister Naledi Pandor delivered a scathing critique, expressing shock that Israel, a country that seemingly missed the memo on international law, continued its civilian culling spree in Gaza despite the UN's sternly worded memo. In a tone reminiscent of a disappointed teacher addressing a particularly wayward student, Pandor wondered aloud why there wasn't an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yet. It's almost as if the International Criminal Court is still deciding if it's worth the paperwork. South Africa, not content with just being the adult in the room, has decided to propose other measures to the global community, hoping Israel will follow the rules for once. The UN's International Court of Justice had the audacity to suggest that Israel should, in fact, try not to engage in genocide. It's a revolutionary concept, really. The ruling, which Israel probably mistook for a takeout menu, stopped short of ordering a ceasefire. Because, stopping the killing of civilians is apparently a tall order. Israel is now expected to urgently deliver basic humanitarian aid to Gaza as if it's the world's, hardest task. It's like the UN is playing a bureaucratic version of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader with Israel? And the question is, can you follow basic humanitarian principles? In the grand tradition of ignoring inconvenient truths, Israel continues to dance to its own tune, leaving the international community to wonder if they missed the memo on common decency and, not engaging in acts of genocide. But fear not, world, South Africa is on the case, armed with proposals and a deep sigh of disappointment. It's almost as if Israel is participating in a global version of hide and seek, and they're really committed to winning at all costs, even if it means ignoring the rules of humanity.
In 1994, a group of Namibians saw a need for a grassroots Namibian medical aid fund. The Prosperity Medical Aid Fund was born right here, among the hardworking fishermen and ship workers of Walvish Bay. In 2001, in order to establish a fund focused on its members that put their health first, the fund formed its own identity away from its administrators, Prosperity Health. It was named Renaissance Health as a symbol for the renewal of medical funding in Namibia, a transformation in health. Renaissance members voted for their first board of trustees who would carry the fund forward for all Namibians. By 2010, Renaissance had members across the entire Namibia, a fund founded by Namibians for Namibians to ensure access to quality healthcare. In 2020, RMA was put to the test with COVID-19, supplying life-saving oxygen machines door-to-door to members when our Namibian hospitals were full, saving many of its members' lives. RMA is not just a medical aid fund, it's a partner in health for its members, whether through our chronic compliance programs or yearly wellness checkups. RMA was started by you. It belongs to you. A proudly Namibian first medical aid fund providing the best in care for all Namibians. Renaissance Health Medical Aid Fund, serving Namibia since 1994. RMA. Your health comes first.
Let's get into our heartwarming moment of the week. Initiated in 2006, the Friendship Bench tackles Zimbabwe's mental health crisis stemming from a scarcity of mental health professionals and a history of unaddressed trauma. With fewer than 20 psychiatrists for 15 million people, the country grapples with post-colonial and wartime traumas compounded by economic hardships. Zimbabwe boasts one of Africa's highest suicide rates, so not boasting. And many facing mental health issues lack access to affordable help. In response, psychiatrist Dr. Dixon Chibanda devised a solution, training lay health workers, predominantly elderly female community health workers known as grandmothers. Despite initial skepticism about their suitability, these grandmothers, deeply rooted in communities, were equipped with problem-solving therapy skills. The program, known as the Friendship Bench, targets common mental health disorders, providing accessible support on purpose-built benches. One wonders, if Namibia's Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah could adopt a similar strategy, perhaps the wisdom chair for her political campaign, leveraging her age and the power of councillor grandmothers to address both mental health and political challenges in the 2024 election. After all, who wouldn't want a leader with the wisdom of a grandmother? Just putting it out there, free of charge.
Take a load off and tune into another episode of Brave Namibia, when we take a look at both ordinary and extraordinary Namibians sharing their stories. Brave Namibia is broadcasted on NTV Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. and oneup2.com, and broadcasted on the following Facebook platforms on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Republican, Allgemeine Zeitung, Namibian Sun, and all Namibia Media Holdings pages. For more information, contact the Brave team at brave@synergy.com.na. Brave Namibia, for the ordinary and extraordinary Namibians.
Now, Ethiopia's commitment to parliamentary gymnastics. Opposition lawmaker Desalegn Chani has been arrested by government security forces without the courtesy of providing an official reason, a move that surely has aficionados like Kafka rolling in their graves. Now, he enjoys the dubious privilege of parliamentary immunity and finding himself in the peculiar position of being detained despite the standard protocol of parliament convening to revoke such immunity before any arrest can take place. However, it seems the government has opted for a more avant-garde approach to constitutional niceties. This marks the second time an opposition legislator has been apprehended, raising the question of whether Ethiopian authorities have a collect them all game card for opposition MPs. Notably, both detainees had a penchant for critiquing Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's administration, suggesting that in Ethiopia dissent is a bit like fine wine, better when it's aged in custody. All right, so Kenya's President William Ruto has managed to turn the concept of visa-free into a spectacular circus act that leaves travelers bewildered and wallets, well, lighter. Last year's grand announcement about Kenya opening its doors without the hassle of visas for African visitors had everyone cheering. But the plot twist unfolds as unsuspecting travelers discover that the definition of visa-free has more twists and turns than a Formula One circuit. The new requirements, cloaked in the guise of electronic travel authorization, have left bewildered tourists scrambling for documents and shelling out cash faster than a tenderpreneur applying for a procurement contract.
From the day you were born and welcomed until your pensioner years on this earth, your life is filled with changes and phases. What mattered the most at age 10 may be an unknown memory at 25. The heartbreak at 16 may be replaced with wedding bells at 27. The degree you've always wanted or starting your career business may come true at age 30. And the dream to own your own home may come to realization at age 50. Whatever stage you find yourself in, whatever matters right now, Standard Bank has what you need to bank like you. Choose your own path. Choose endless possibilities. Standard Bank, it can be.
Today we are going to learn how to bake.
Welcome, everyone.
Things may not always go as planned, but our technology doesn't fail. Join Paratus today. Paratus, always prepared.
A pigeon accused of being a Chinese spy has been cleared by police and released back into the wild. I am very serious right now. The bird was detained by officers after it was captured in May last year near a port in Mumbai, news agency Press Trust of India reported. It was found with 2 rings tied to its legs, featuring words that appeared to be Chinese. Detectives suspected the pigeon was involved in espionage and took it in. However, after 8 months in captivity, it emerged that the creature was an open water racing bird from Taiwan, which had escaped and managed to fly to India. So I managed to contact representatives of the pigeon, and all I can say is the world may witness a groundbreaking legal battle as the pigeon, formerly accused of espionage in India, seeks compensation for its wrongful detention. The feathery victim, now released after an 8-month stint in Mumbai's finest avian prison, is not taking this pigeonholing lightly. Legal experts predict a hefty settlement, possibly in the form of a lifetime supply of breadcrumbs and a luxurious coop in a posh Mumbai neighborhood. The pigeon's legal team argues that its client suffered emotional distress and lost valuable racing time during the detention, a claim that has fluttered the feathers of activists worldwide. Rumors suggest that the bird has already been approached for a tell-all memoir called Coup Behind Bars, The Pigeon Chronicles. As the world awaits the outcome of this unexpected legal drama, one thing is certain: this pigeon is no ordinary bird brain. It's a feathered plaintiff ready to soar into the passages of legal history.
Newsprint Namibia is a web offset printing operation that specializes in the printing of newspapers and commercial inserts. We are the leaders in our industry, with the highest quality print work and the shortest turnaround time from computer to print and delivery anywhere in the country daily. Newsprint was established mainly as a newspaper print company, but had to diversify its business to do commercial printing as required in the market. We print commercial inserts previously printed in South Africa in the shortest possible time. We, as an organization, also started printing workbooks for our education system and will also print textbooks for the Namibian market. For more information, please contact print@newsprint.com.
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toivon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts, and experts. The Agenda aims to reach high-end news consumers seeking informed understanding of national issues. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and the Namibia Media Holdings Facebook platform. The Agenda focuses on interviews where we put the nation in the hot seat. Contact Agenda at synergy.com.na to get your product and service in the hot seat. The Agenda, focused on today's conversation.
Our TikTok of the week takes us to South Africa, where Anton Taylor gives us the experience of a Cape Townian in Johannesburg. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Anton Taylor, and in June this year, I visited Joburg. Okay, let's do this. Well, I arrived at the airport and I rented a car and got on the road, and that's where it all began, really. You know, I changed lanes and immediately I got hooted at, and this guy like drives up next to me and he's like, use your indicator. And I'm like, use telepathy, you know, and apparently in Joburg, you need to indicate when you change lanes. And then I'm driving in the fast lane, like going fast, okay? And then like someone's driving up behind me, like flashing their lights, and like, I'm like, bro, I'm driving 70 kilometers an hour. Like, how much faster do you want me to go? Then I'm at the mall, okay, and I see this guy from university, and he actually like greets me. I'm like, what the hell? Like, let's pretend we don't know each other. That's what we do in Cape Town. And then he's like, it's so good to see you. And he's like, we should do something. And then, I'm sorry. He said, let's do something. And he like actually meant it. The sun rises like so early, okay, and then there was just hardy dogs. Okay, and all I could think is like, where is the DA? And why are they not doing anything about this? The only reason to visit Joburg is as a gratitude exercise, to be like, I'm so grateful that I live in Cape Town. And I just wanted to share my story.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
That was Second Take. Thank you very much for watching the show. If you have some political figures, some stories that you'd like us to cover, let us know in our DMs on our social media. We would love to help you join in the culture of making fun of the most powerful. From Ash and Betty, that's been the Second Take.